Welcome to today's episode. Today we'll be discussing from this wonderful book, Testimony of the Last Spirit, the topic dealing with confusion. Come with me to the book of 1 Corinthians 14:33, and I read in Jesus' name. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. I also read the book of Psalm 71 verse 1. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. The greatest enemy of man is confusion. Confusion is a voice against the prophecy of our lives. There is a need for anyone who is confused to be delivered. Confusion and depression cannot be avoided when life is not lived properly. Those who are confused are not in charge. Being in charge is a sign that confusion is not around you. The moment men are confused, they lose out and lack focus. Any man who is in a state of confusion can never achieve anything. Confusion depletes men and take away their divinity. Confusion is not for divine men. Confusion is more grievous than sin. Sin attracts punishment, but confusion takes one's whole life. There is need to understand God's plan. Those who understand God's plan for them are not confused. Confusion is pure absence of God. Confusion reveals the valuelessness of men. Those who are not confused can never lack energy. Those who are not confused are already in heaven, because the earth is a place where things will continue to shake. But when such confusion floods our mind, we need to ask God to endue us with His Spirit, so we may not be tossed about by many winds of challenges and troubles of life that can bring confusion. There is nothing like luck. Everything about future is in sight. Therefore, get ready for your future. Prophecy is like a word spoken over your life and situation. And until you see it with the third eye coming into manifestation, it will never come to pass. The moment we start seeing, automatically doubt and confusion is erased, and motivation will set in when looking for something with faith, and before you know it, the result will come. There is a need to stay focused on what you know. Learn to accept you are stuck each time you are in a place part time. Always be patient, no matter what, because those who are confused are impatient. Confusion makes people get stuck instead of growing. Confusion is temporal and sometimes permanent. Do not allow it, because it is very precocious and it will take lifetime to handle. The spirit of confusion is so terrible, as it makes a person not to know who he or she is, what he or she wants, and it makes one believe that someone else should fix his or her issues, which are supposed to be his or her own personal challenges. Trust is very important if we must deal with confusion. Trust is an assured reliance on character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. God expects us to totally trust Him. When trust is broken, many things happen. Lack of trust brings loss of faith, and sadness is unavoidable. Disappointment becomes the order of the day, and confusion sets in. We should learn to put our whole trust in the Lord if we must deal with confusion, the greatest enemy of man. We should always rejoice in the midst of trials. When you rejoice in the midst of tribulation, it produces patience, which is the antidote to confusion. There is need for us to pass through the training that God gives to His children, so we can be empowered to evolve, to endure the hard times of life. God is not confused, and if really we are God's children, you will not be confused, as we are made in the image and likeness of God, carrying God's attributes, which is against confusion. Therefore, whatsoever we face should not be allowed to make us forget our best moments. Wow! We've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week when I'll be discussing the power of a right place. Thank you so much.